So can you introduce yourself, like your names, your age, and your expertise?
Great. So this is Gilbert Savarimutu, and I am from Sri Lanka, and I am here doing my doctoral studies, PhD in English literature, the Department of Cross Cultural Studies. This is my field of doing my PhD research.
Okay, so how did you discover your interest in your current specialization, and what has helped you to develop it?
Lovely, yes. Basically, I'm a poet. So I'm an English, since English is my major. So I have done my English literature, bachelor's and master's. Bachelor's in India, bachelor's in English literature, and master's in UK. So I'm very much interested in doing research on poetry. So that's why I am developing my research into poetry, especially on the topic of mysticism. It comes in philosophy, yes. So I'm just planning to analyze the mystical poets.
Okay, so the second question, yeah, the obstacles you're facing and during your life so far.
Well, yes. I mean, as a student, really, I faced a big obstacle during the civil war in Sri Lanka. So I think I was doing my ninth grade, and then there was a civil war outbreak in my country. So I couldn't continue my studies. So I had to flee from the country. I went to India as a refugee. So because of that, almost a year, I was not able to do my studies properly. So it was an interrupt for my studies. And then I started my studies in India. There are a lot of cultural differences and education system. So these are the obstacles I faced. But then I picked up my studies, and then I developed, because I was doing in Tamil medium, my own mother tongue. Then when I was in India, I had to do it in English medium. So it's entirely different setup. But I picked up. But there's a blessing in disguise. So in India, then I began to fall in love with the language in English. So that directed me to study in literature.
Okay, thank you, and that's my part.
Lovely,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
Okay. And the last question, what do you think are the good things and weakness of the Taiwanese educational system and teaching methods based on your experience study here?
Well, yeah, in the university, I mean, I'm in the PhD program already. So I not gone through the college education school here, because in PhD program mostly it is individual work. So the professors also expect us to do our own research, our own reading, and our own presentations. That I really like, because research oriented learning system here. I mean, earlier in our countries now we used to practice the teacher centered method of learning, where the students are dependent on teachers. But here, from my experience, I find it's like a student centered. Like the students are given a lot of tasks to complete, a lot of assignments to do, projects, like you are doing a project to do. So I find this is a good way of approaching education system, where the individual people individually are challenged, and the learning happens from the student's point of view. So here we find the lecturers or the professors are like mentors to just support you, your own area of research. So I'm very positive about the Taiwan education system at the moment.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, what are the differences you feel as a person compared to your past self, and what factors have contributed to that change? Okay, so there is a change. Well, it's actually it's very philosophical questions. Yes, talking about change. So great philosopher says change is the one changeless. So in our life we always change. So there's a past life and the present one. It's a experience. I mean, every time when we do reflect, the life changes, and from ignorance to knowledge. That's what I discover. For example, I mean, is like when I was doing my undergraduation, I was really admirer of British literature. But as we grow and then learn other cultures, and especially reading the multi authors and multi cultures, I realized there are good things from other poets, and that's why I just to compare these East and West concept to get the rich out of. So that actually affects my life also, from the narrow approach to the wider approach to life, I feel.
And how supportive are your family of your choice to pursue your study in your current field? And what are their thoughts on study abroad?
That's a really interesting question. Yes, whether your family people support your research. Yes, especially once you are married. So I'm married, and I have two kids at home in Sri Lanka. Yes, it's a big question whether you get a support from them. I'm already working in an institution back in Sri Lanka, so I took a study leave and then come here to do my research. The problem is, yes, who will take care of the family? So I really depend on my wife. She's very supportive, and I need to acknowledge and thank her for in this moment. She takes care of the children, yes, and she does a lot of sacrifice in taking them to school and bringing them back. So a lot of things she does, but I support her whatever may that I can. That's the one thing, and my children are really doing well. There is a kind of what is sacrifice. So I'm also sacrificing my family for my studies, and they are sacrificing myself in the hope that I have to do these studies and get back to job again. So, but another time, other thing is like when once you are in research, so you are also gaining knowledge, and you can also contribute to the growth of the students when you are teaching. So in that way I can get satisfaction when I do my research, but of course there's a sacrifice, and I get support from my family.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Taiwan to study, and do you have any goals you want to set up in Taiwan?
Well, yes. So the first thing is like East Asia. Okay, it is one of my dreams to travel, to come over China, Taiwan, Philippines, and the land scale as such I like. First of all, I never been to these areas before that. I said no, we are Asians, but it's entirely different, South Asia and East Asia. So that is one of the reasons that I opted to come over here. I've been in Europe, so I have traveled most of the European countries. So that was another experience. And coming over to Taiwan is one of the dreams for me to come over to this land. The second thing is, yeah, when I was looking for my research of comparative literature, this is my area. Then I found in Furan we have the department called Cross-Cultural Studies and Comparative Literature. It was really a surprise for me because that they're already having a department here. So a faculty here. So I applied, I approached, and blessed I also got scholarship, full scholarship. So I opted, and then I am here.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Thank you for your question.